Y'all ain't gonna be on very long because it's hotter than Satan's butt crack out here on this back porch today. Just wanted to pop on and say howdy. And, yeah, just kind of chit chat for a second. I'm seeing, well, I've not seen anything. I've not really watched anything because I've been busy this weekend, but I've gotten a lot of, messages or direct messages or emails, and it's odd. It shows it really shows the issue with the society and community right now. When you Let's just look at it this way. I watch lots of videos. I probably watch hundreds of videos in a week with ideologies that I don't agree with, and I don't say a thing because I understand that that's not my ideology, and therefore it's not something that I'm going to talk about. And I post one video quoting Tennessee state law and like send everybody off into a shit fit. And it's just kind of funny. It just kind of shows how society is working right now. That you can get away. Hello, Logan. You can get away with saying some really crazy, off the wall, stupid stuff. Like you can make the most stupid video ever and get millions of likes and millions of views and tons of support. But if you say this is a state law and it needs to be respected, you get tons of hate. And it's just funny. It just kind of catches me off guard, and I go, is this the dichotomy? Is this the bifurcation of society now? Is this the dichotomy that we're living in? You either have to, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be a country girl for a minute. You either have to be submissive and sniff the ass of everybody you come along, or you have to be hated. Do we not have a median group anymore that's just commonsensical people that go, hey, I like you. You use your noggin. I appreciate it when you use your noggin. You might not use your noggin in the same way I use my noggin, but I appreciate that you use your noggin. So I'm gonna like you. And I don't see many of those people anymore. I just don't. And I get attacked. I've already been attacked for the video where I shot the crossbow. It's a crossbow. I shot a target. I've already gotten hate for that. I used a crossbow to shoot a target. I'm sorry. And Antifa got to burn down how many cities this summer, and I shoot a crossbow and I've already gotten hate. But it's funny because if you're creating hate, you're creating dialogue. So it's like, I'm okay with that. But I have to come back on here and say, the stir that I'm seeing is stupidity, and it's arrogance, and it's ignorance. And it's just anybody that's in a tizzy about me quoting Tennessee state law, you need to go have your noggin checked. If you live in Tennessee, that's the law you live under. And no, I've not mentioned any names, and I've not said anybody, and it's not been whoever I did hear, because I had it on Google Play when I was cleaning the house, and as soon as I heard, I've got a friend, this is being leaked, she works for DCS or CPS, whatever she said, and then they started talking about specific medical treatment that the boys were getting. And I said, hey, Google, stop. Because I didn't want to listen any farther. Because beyond that, it's trash talk. It's not legal. So I don't remember who it was. I'm not going to call out any names. I'm just going to say, if you were an adult, and I'm pretty sure because of the proximity and the information she was getting from a friend, she probably was a Tennessean, which hurts my heart even more. Because something, Tennesseans, we're better than that. Are we not better than that? We're better than that. But it's just, and everybody's like, well, she's got such a complex. I have no complex. I have no complex at all. I know where the line is. And have we become such a society that we can't identify boundaries anymore? Even when they're written in black and white? TCA, Tennessee Annotated Code, and we can't identify boundaries anymore? Have we become that society? Is that where we are? Somebody let me know. Have you seen that video going around? It's back from the show in the 90s or the 2000s where this is how you condition people. and they've got a lady in a doctor's office with like 13 actors, and every time a bell rings, they all stand up. And she's looking around going, why are these people doing this? But without explanation, the next time the bell goes off, she stands up with them. Conditioning. Yeah, they feel entitled. You know, and I'm great. Everybody should have an opinion. You should create your own beliefs. I've worked 43 years to create mine, so I don't want to discredit the time you used to create yours. But no, when you walk out and you particularly step in a pile of crap and you set your sights on getting information that legally you should not have, that legally you should not speak of, you know, that's a separate thing. I mean, I'll talk about the psychology behind this essay. I'll talk about potentially what the family members may be going through psychologically, emotionally. I'll talk about all of that, but I will not try to get specific treatment information that they're going through, because for me to give an opinion or a guesstimation of the psychology of what's going on inside their minds, that's an opinion. But when you say, hey, I got this information from a DCS worker, and it states that they're getting this specific health treatment, this specific, and named a few things. That's HIPAA. There's a big helicopter going over my house right now. I hope you can't hear it. But, and then everybody wants to be like, I'm butt hurt, my feelings are hurt, I'm butt hurt, I'm butt hurt, I'm butt hurt, I'm butt hurt. Well, imagine if you were the kids that were getting your specific information spilled on the internet. Would you be butt hurt? You know, and I say always look at things from at least 4 perspectives before you speak about it. Because everybody's like, well, you're trying to make the family look innocent. No, I'm not. I've spoken out. I've addressed what Dawn and Candace have put out as public knowledge. I'm not making them look innocent. I've stated they are not innocent because of, you know, Dawn has admitted to things where he is not an innocent man. You know, common sense. But what's going on with the missing child and the other children has not gone through, you know, it's in family court, and the rest has not hit the justice system yet. So I don't have that right. I don't have that right to lay a conviction on somebody. You know, they have to go to court. It has to go through the process, people. But I mean, it surprises me sometimes when people get butt hurt, and then they try to get snarky and send you stuff and like, well, you're a horrible person. And I'm sitting here going, okay. I mean, I've been cussed out by murderers. I've been threatened. I've been, you know, I've had people jump me. Okay. The right thing here is to abide by the legal components that protect those kids and not let anything specific out. You know. Now you can talk about your opinion and what you think's going on all day long. That's fine. But you can't try to, you know, climb that wall and get that information. That is protected information. But is this the society that we live in now? Where you're either right, and you're the new fad, and people are crawling all over you, or they're coming after you with pitchforks and fire. Because I used to remember these people in the middle that were pretty laid back people that had some common sense, that, you know, that was kind of my people. It's where I live, right in the middle. I don't want to be like particularly anybody's business, but I don't want anybody in mine either. Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I definitely think with the indicators that we're seeing now, that something potentially should have happened earlier. There should have been intervention sooner. That's absolutely, and there's so many great conversations we can have about this topic that we can learn from, and we can generate hopefully enough communication to where we can figure out how to not allow this to occur, or we can help somebody figure out if it is occurring close to them, if they've seen certain signs or symptoms. Yeah, and those are gunshots. I live rural. People are sighting in weapons. It's fixing to be hunting season. So just don't yell at me. And no, I'm not going to flinch because I'm used to them. But there are so many positive things we can say about this topic. And people are turning it into a butthurt session over me going, hey, you know something? When you talk about it, follow the law. Protect the kids. Don't put their specific treatment information out there. That's illegal. That's HIPAA violation. Talk about it in opinion status. Talk about it in, you know, the potential harm that can be done. Or how if something were like that to happen to your family, how you think your family would cope. Or study the psychology and do a psychology lesson. Study the neurological effects of child abuse and do a video on that. You know, do something big like that instead of being butthurt. I think there's a lot of changes. I think there's a lot of changes and upgrades and ways to improve the whole social service game, because I've spent my whole life in corrections or juvenile justice and social service, and the most frustrated I've ever been is with DCS and social services. So I understand. I do understand the irritation, because I've been irritated with them myself, and I've prompted action, and I've been a mandatory reporter, and I've seen them drag their feet, and it's frustrated me. It's frustrated me. So there's so much improvement that can be done. Like we desperately need people in the communities that have the heart for the jobs that they go after. Does that make sense? Because you find people in these really big jobs where they can change people's lives, and they don't care. And so there needs to be more control over that. Yeah. The case numbers and the amount of emotional stress is horrible. And, you know, in every job I've ever worked at, you have mental counseling available to you in case you get burnt out or you see something or have to handle something that's too much for you to process. But I will say that in the state of Tennessee, they do abuse their counselors, their social workers, their correction officers, their probation parole officers. They've used them because they give them caseloads that are just astronomically hard to maintain. That's what I'm saying. There's so many different views to this. We can be upset with DCS. We can wish it happened sooner to have stepped in and potentially saved a life or not caused this little girl to get lost. But we can also see how they're overworked and stressed, and the system is failing us. You know, we can also see that people are frustrated and they're so emotionally enraged that they're overstepping boundaries. And then we got people like me that are going, okay, we can have constructive talks, but we have to make sure we do it in a positive manner, and we're not disseminating information we shouldn't. Because if we're trying to create positivity but we do it illegally or in a negative way, that positivity is going to cancel out. So we have to be very careful about how we disseminate this knowledge and what knowledge we give out. And I think the baseline thing is respect. I don't think our society has respect anymore. I don't think society has respect for people anymore. And I think if they think you're a simple person, like people meet me and they're like, oh, she's just a little hillbilly. She twangs when she talks. She can't be smart. She has an Appalachian dialect, so her brain must not work. I use that as an indicator. If you say that in the first 3 minutes we meet, then I'm not going to waste my time on you, because you've indicated to me that you're very stupid. So, she's not going to spend time on you. But I get, you know, I understand that when people listen to me and they listen to me speak about this, because of the stigma of Appalachia and because of, you know, the social awareness that comes from the big cities or the people that only know about city living, I get a lot of stigma. It's okay. I appreciate you taking your time to tell me that. Yeah, I'm not trying to, like, that's why I've not named anybody. I don't even remember who it was, because it was just playing through my recommendeds as I was cleaning the house. You know, it's over a speaker system, so I'm just cleaning the house. And it just bothered me because I knew it was wrong. But apparently, because I'm from Appalachia and I twang, I'm not allowed to be upset with anything. Social conditioning in DCS. Do you ever feel that sometimes DCS has been social conditioned to be robots? They have no emotion. I meet them sometimes and I go, you really think you're emotionally adapted for this job? Since I feel every one of these children's failed them, yeah. Never give private information, yeah. And I said if you're giving private information or you're seeking to get a leak to provide this information for self-gratification, then you're just victimizing them in another way. You're just abusing them in another way. Woo! People got their butts lit up for that one. Ric Flair moment times 100. You know. And I said, if that hurt you, if you watch those videos and you feel bad about yourself, then go read up on the DCS Client's Handbook in Tennessee state law. Because I don't personally have an issue with you. You have a legal issue with Tennessee. I just, I think talking about everything is great. But, y'all, let's do it the right way. Let's not overstep where we don't need to overstep. Be polite, be respectful. I've had some great conversations. The lady that I did the live with last week, some of the people that do in her comment sections are, they're talking about some really big crap. They're talking about their own abuse, and they've created a network to help each other, to reach out and help each other across the entire world. That's fantastic, because we all know that mental health fails so many people. The mental health network fails so many people. So the caseworker wouldn't have been who did it, couldn't have been overheard. The thing is if you know the little mini storm that happens when you get new clients and you're trying to get them placed and you're trying to get them checked out and everything, there's such a little tizzy around those kids that and there's such a a little storm of paperwork and trying to get everything logged into the state, billed through the state, approved and placed, and that information can be easily overheard. Yeah, I like sharing. Yeah, I really like sharing, and I think, I sent her a message and I was like, I hope you don't think that I was speaking of you, because I literally don't even remember whose video it was. I just heard it and said, hey Google, stop, and never went back. Because it didn't matter to me who it was. It just mattered that I needed to stay. This doesn't need to happen. This doesn't need to occur. But there's such a storm around the intake of clients. It's just a storm. Bad people will get information. Yeah, and it behooves me why people would be proud to give out HIPAA information. Yeah, Tennessee's catching a bad rap right now. Hello to you too, Precious. It says, even my siblings and I heard things my mom spoke to my dad about in some cases. Yeah, we felt bad. Thank you for agreeing with me. I appreciate that. You don't have to agree with me. You can always disagree. You can listen to me talk about anything. I don't know. My husband would say, no, you can't. My husband would be like, no, she needs to shut up sometimes. I just want to make sure that when these people are making these videos, true crime is so much easier to do if it's a cold case, because the emotions are not so heated. And so and I don't mind passionate people. Just legally make sure you're on the right radar. Legally make sure you're doing the right thing. Look at it from 3 or 4 different views. Put yourself in 3 or 4 different positions. Because there have been things that I want to say to you all that I turn around and look from another position and go, well, they may take that wrong. They may look at me and think I meant this. Okay, let's find another way to say that. And so I really do think about how I present myself. And I'm not right about everything. I got corrected in one of my last videos because I worded it very wrong, and I got caught on it, and I thanked her for catching me. You hate the way people think everyone that's from Tennessee. Yeah. We are getting a stigma. We got that back in the 50s too, when they made it, they were making Appalachia the welfare state. Precious, I did not, but I'll check it out. I will check it. Can you post the link in this so that I can check it out? Because I will forget if you don't do that. Post the link and I will go check it out. And I'm open to almost any discussion. Like, I'm open to any discussion that will be positive and create a momentum for people to be aware and talk about all these different issues, because there's issues from every side. But I will not discuss anything that is going to violate the rights and privacy of those that are in state's custody or in foster care or anything. But yeah, well, smart people do know how to not lump people. You know, I'm from Appalachian. I had not done a whole lot of traveling up until I started, you know, I got out of college and started really working and doing a lot of traveling. But I always knew that the world was a beautiful place with vibrant, different people. But I grew up listening to Queen. My dad was a Baptist minister, but he was also a farrier. So I was in church on Sunday, but I was in horse barns with some rather raunchy people, you know, in my younger years. My mother was an educator, so I was on a college campus a lot with her in lecture halls. I knew how to behave. We would go to square dances and community events, you know, or then we may go to a huge presentation, you know, the next weekend for some college. So I was kind of stuck in a lot of different situations, but I was never ashamed about who I was. And it's funny how you can literally identify as anything except yourself. Because if I come on here and say I'm happy with me, I'm happy with my ruddy red complexion and my freckles, I'm happy with my fat mama wing arms, you know, I'm happy with the way I talk, and people are like, well, how dare you? How dare you be a cisgender female? And I'm just like, how dare I? How dare I come out of the womb and be who I wanted to be? You know, it's just like, you know. Yeah, it's not just a Southern problem. When I did counseling, I had kids from multiple states that had been sent to Tennessee for family or for placement, and because they had family relations. And so it's not just a Tennessee problem, it's all over. The thing is the social stratus, the social caste system that you see in your area literally just duplicates itself all over the world. That's all it does. That's all it does. You might sound different or look a little different, but it's just duplicated. Yep, there's a reason the kids are protected. Absolutely. That's it. And you know, and my thing is you balance out likes, clicks, Facebook, YouTube fame, or children's protection. Woo, hello people, is that even a choice? You protect these kids. Hey, you caught me. I'm just being me today. I come on here, when I shot my crossbow earlier, and these kids don't need to be seeing any. No, they don't. They don't. And I've actually talked about that. Like, if I'm completely off point, and the videos I've done, I don't think will be helpful for them to grow when they, you know, if they were to hear them, then I'll delete them, erase them, lock them. They will be gone. So if this goes through court and gets closure, and I'm completely off the scale, they're gone. Bless your heart, you drug the two drug. Oh, bless your heart. Bless your heart. You're toughin'. You're tough as a pine knot. You know, and what people don't understand is, this is a sad thing to say, but everyone grows up with something wrong going on in their home. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they're at a good age that if they get into a good home, the cycle will be broken and they will be able to function and be happy and be productive. And I just don't want, they've been through so much, I just don't think that there needs to be additional stressors upon them. And so I don't, it hurts my heart to think that somebody within the system that's built to protect them is leaking, disseminating information so that somebody, you know, so that their bestie or friend or family can get a YouTube click. And I'm just like, huh? It's not right. Yeah, CPS story is part of the bigger problem. Today there's a new rumor flying across YouTube. Oh, and there'll be a new one. Yeah, it's shocking how willing. Yeah, the rumor mill. Like, that's why I always said it in my things. In my videos, I've only responded to interviews that the parents have done where they have disseminated the knowledge. They have given the interview, or they have said this, we know it's public, and yes, we said this, and I'll talk about it. But I don't want to cross a line. Yes, and with the right amount of love and therapy, they can become great people. Yeah. Every day you get up and you're breathing, you can make the best of yourself. Yeah. I have days when I get up and I know I'm not, like, compatible with society, and I have to go zip it today, Elizabeth. Zip it. I believe in protecting the children. I'm not in favor in the belief of the village is the guy. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. We don't have to continue. Exactly. Sadly, I also know that abuse victims will miss something about the. Yeah. Well, that is, they grew up. Even if they grew up in a bad environment, they still had that send-receive response with that parent, and that's how they grew up, and that's how their brain was formed, and that's routine, that's comfort. So they're still gonna miss it. Hello, Priscilla. The saddest thing is that it took losing a 5-year-old to, yeah, and that's why I certainly don't want rumors or people going beyond, and I don't want them hurt any farther. And yeah, those parents, even as deplorable some of their behavior has been, it's still their parents, so they're still going to have some attachment, some emotional attachment to them, and who knows, things could change in the next decade, and they could rectify their relationship with their parents when they become adults. I mean, there's so many possibilities to the story if the aid is there, and they take advantage of the aid, and everything kind of works the way it's supposed to. Now, I'm not saying, we all know that CPS has lots of issues, DCS has lots of issues. Yeah, and it's just like, I get on here and it's clickbait headlines, and I've got a leaker, I've got this knowledge, and I'm just like, whoa, that's not a useful conversation. That's not helping anyone learn anything. That's not helping us heal. Stop it. Hello, I'm new to the community, but I've seen much misinformation flying around. Yeah, it's the little trails, the little paths that we get caught on that will trip us up the worst. Well, you're true. Both parents aren't quite possibly narcissistic. We talked about narcissism and histrionic parents the other day, and yeah, I agree with you. I have hope that everybody can rectify and do better and become better people, but I do see the pattern, and the pattern scares me. See, that's the thing. The words that she was stating it, and the way that she was stating it about the leak, it made me uncomfortable enough to speak about it. That's why I didn't name anybody, and I didn't go back through and see who had said it, or I didn't go through YouTube and see who all was spreading it. I just got in here and said, listen, if this is something that you're doing, and you watch this, and I tell you that it's illegal, and you feel bad about it, go read, educate, don't do it anymore. And that's it. That should have been the end of the discussion. But then we get a lot of people get butthurt, and they get butthurt with the wrong things. And it's just like, these are children. Protect these children. Protect them. Do the right thing. Have a positive conversation. But it's like I said, this little box is intoxicating. People spend 4 hours putting on makeup to get on here and talk to you. Obviously, I don't. I'm in a bathing suit top and a cut-up t-shirt and a Farm Bureau hat. This is how we live. But I've had a good day, and I wanted to be outside. And I got to shoot my crossbow, and when I outshot my husband, I did the whole, the little thing, and he was like, stop it. And I was like, okay, I'll stop being a man today. He loves it, though. He's like, he gets a kick out of me because I've always been a big tomboy, and we were always together. And then when this disorder started affecting my body, we had to reevaluate and rethink a relationship. And so when we can actually, when I'm sitting in my rolly chair right now, just so you know, I'm outside, but I do have to, like, my legs will give out, so I have to have somewhere I can sit where my legs are like, sorry lady, check it out. But on the days that I can actually get out and I feel good enough to do these things, it's just a blessing. And I just love spending time with my big burly lumberjack. I just think he's precious. Priscilla said, do you want to work on this? Are you talking to me or somebody else? If you ask me, a lot of the channels are acting in their own best interest. Yeah, that bothers me. The person that got ugly with you is equally ugly the last time. I don't know. Like, I guess a lot of you know who that person is. I don't know who that person is. I didn't know her from Adam or Eve, so it didn't bother me when she got sassy, because it's just, you know, it's like you're a stranger who, and if you're a stranger and you don't know me and I say something that is law and you get mad, are you really mad at me, or do you just really feel bad? It might be guilt. Looked at my torn up gardening jeans. There you go. I had on my Upchurch shirt the other day, and then I had my Tom McDonald shirt the other day. Had on a Motorhead shirt the other day too. So my husband gets irritated because I'm a band shirt person. Priscilla, honey, I'm sending you good vibes. And if you ever need to talk, you can get me on Instagram under Izby Waters, IZZBY Waters. Or you can email me at watersworkload@gmail.com. We can talk about a live together if you want to. That's fine. You use the information I just gave to contact me. We can definitely talk about that. I'm not looking to be anybody's, you know, like, people get on here and I want to be nice. Like, I'm nice to everybody. I want to be respectful. I want to be kind. I want to invite you in. Well, I normally just let them stick around long enough to figure it out. She said don't block or click ignore. I normally just let them stick around long enough to figure out that kind of ego thrust doesn't work here, and just, you know. I do have Facebook. It's Elizabeth Waters. Yeah, I'm not scared to tell you who I am. Yeah, it needs to go back to the search. It needs to, yeah, and it just needs to do better. Oh, is that another creator? See, I don't know these people. I don't know these people. So lots of times when I'm listening, it's on speaker, and I don't even know what channel it went to. It just goes to the next one, and it's playing for me, and I'm listening. So I don't really, like, pay attention to who I'm listening to. I'm just paying attention to what is being said. And that's why I got uncomfortable with what was being said the other day. And, you know, everybody's like, you just showed up and put a stick in our spokes. And I'm like, I didn't do anything but read Tennessee state law. Instagram behooves me, but I have one, but it, like, confuses me. It confuses me too. Social media sometimes, like, I'm not on Facebook a lot. I don't, like, get into it like everybody that has to post their meals and vacations, and I'm not on Facebook a whole lot. YouTube, I watch and listen to a lot of YouTube. But I'm normally reading something. I live in it's a pretty part of the world, but it's, when you roll up upon some of the poverty, it's scary. Yeah, now that the boys are safe, we need to regroup and focus on summer. Yep. Yeah. And I'm telling you, since the Popo's been tight-lipped, they're working on something big. I'm telling you. That's why it's so, this is so hush-hush, because there's something big being worked on. That's why it's so tight-lipped. Oh, I didn't know who was the, I didn't go through and see who all had done it. I just addressed it because I thought it needed to be addressed. Yep, how do we do better? Yeah, there's some, and even some of the people that probably slipped up and made that mistake have still had really great conversations. So I'm not saying, you're sorry and you can't do anything right. And no. that when you cross that one barrier, though, that should be something that's off limits, and you should be aware of that. And if you're going to talk about a case that is active and has children, and you're going to be emotionally attached, you need to check yourself. Yeah, Chris McDonough, and I've told y'all, like, I'm always honest. There are things I love about him, there are things I don't like about him, but I appreciate his input, and he is so wise. And I've told you this too, Knoxville is one of the biggest trafficking hubs in the South. When I was an officer, we trained on it a lot because we had to be aware that it was a huge trafficking spot, because you can legit disappear in so many different areas so quickly that it's just super handy for people that want to do bad things. So, and a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. They want to focus on, the pretty parts about where they live, but you have to dig in and really look at everything, and it can be sad sometimes. If you can't find me on Facebook, look up like Hillbilly Furs. That is my husband's fur page, and you can always yell at me through there too. That might be easier. It's just Hillbilly Furs. Very small page. It says I don't normally do true crime. This is the first. Yeah, I know it's bad. It's rough, isn't it? This one has been emotional because of literally, like I said, everything that can go wrong in a family is wrong in this family, and that's why it pulls so many people in. We all feel attached some way. Yeah. Tennessee's a big hub, but yeah, it runs. Yeah, and it runs the same avenues as the gang pipelines. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, I was in law enforcement. I was a parole officer for about a decade. I was a probation parole officer, an interstate compact officer, and I monitored sex offenders for a while. And then I worked in juvenile justice and social services, and I was a wilderness counselor boot camp for juveniles that were either social service, juvenile justice, or in custody and allowed to do their sentence at the wilderness boot camp. I tutored for AmeriCorps before that. So I've always been in some type of line of work like that. And my email is watersworkload@gmail.com. Oh, you're a retired UK cop. Well, y'all got a tough job, because y'all, bless your hearts. I mean, the battle of wits over there, because y'all don't get a lot of backup or tools. It's kind of scary. I don't know if I would always. I think where I live would depend on how I use my education. And here I was able to use it predominantly with the violent offenders and the substance abusers. And when I was in adult probation and parole, and then with the kids, I worked with trauma-based kids that had gotten into substance abuse. So, but I think depending on where I live and what I saw in the environment I was in, that would dictate how I would use my education. I always end up somehow where I'm supposed to be. Oh, you live in the Welsh Mountains. You want to trade spots? I'll trade spots with you. I am Scots-Irish and Cherokee. So, I want to travel, but I'll probably never get over there. Yeah, trafficking, it has the same highways as the cartels and the gangs and the drugs and the firearms, and it's sad. Memphis, well, you're right there in the middle of it all. Memphis it's a big place. It's a big place. It's scary. This is my sister. Yep. West Virginia's rough, bless her. I mean, it's beautiful, but it's a rough place to live. Well, hello, Irish and Cherokee. See, there's a lot of us that are still here that have not moved from this area that still have that. So, there's still a lot of Appalachia, Scotch-Irish, Cherokee people that are here. So, I guess we don't travel well. I don't know, maybe we just really set down our roots stay. I don't know. Oh, update. When I told y'all several weeks ago that there had been a guy ginsenging several years ago that just blipped off the radar, nobody had seen him. Well, last year, hunters found a skull like 3 or 4 miles back in there. Now, in this property, I used to ginseng and hog hunt and deer hunt. And then on the back side of the property that bucked up to it by the river, I used to cut trails for the trail riding facility when I was a teenager. I probably needed more supervision when I was young because I was like 13 out with my horse all day cutting trails. But he got back in there, and we don't know what happened to him. But last year, the hunters found a skull. They finally, a couple weeks ago, identified that. They released a piece in the news the other day. It was that man. He has been found, but they still don't really. The family got closure, but not like the closure they needed. They now know he is passed, which they had assumed, but they still don't know what happened. So they did at least recover, so that the family knows. I grew up on a horse. My dad was a farrier, so I grew up with horses. But when I started having all the knee surgeries and all the problems, I gained a zip code on my butt and had to give it up. You live in Mexico. Wow. I've never, like, legit, the farthest south I've been is like just below Atlanta. But I'm well insulated. I don't do deep south. No, my daughter's fiance is from like southern Georgia. Yeah, like a lot of people don't understand our life here in the sticks, and like there was a lot of people from the city are moving to the country now. They're buying up huge packets, parcels of land, and they don't understand how the country works. And so like I watched a video the other day where this guy, okay, listen, if there's a hunting season for an animal in an area, it's because the animal's numbers need to be kept to a healthy number so that the land can maintain them. And there's so many rules and regulations, and this was like way up north where they're able to hound hunt bears, and somebody's hounds, of course he had them on GPS collar. And, when a hound gets on its quarry, it will not stop. That's the natural instinct of that dog. That's a hound. And so in the state of Tennessee, you're not allowed to, like if somebody's hounds chases their quarry onto your land, you can't impede them from getting their hounds. And you can't harm the dogs unless it's like they're like after your livestock or something, and you would have to prove it. But you can't impede the hunters from retrieving their animals. And I watched a video the other night, and he obviously had not lived in the country very long, and he obviously did not understand the lifestyle of people that he had moved amongst. He did not understand how the woods work and how nature works, and he was very bad. He was very mean to that man, and the hunter was very gracious, but it was. Hey, listen, I went to my mom and dad's the other day because they had butchered a big old steer, and I got 12 pounds of burger and T-bone steaks. So, and we got another one set to butcher in December. And my family will eat more venison in the winter than we eat anything else. And if we're lucky to get a wild hog, that'll be bacon. We process our own meat. We vacuum seal our own meat. And I'm really good at taking things apart. So, of course, I grew up doing all that. So, and my husband's the same way. He grew up probably a little bit more deeper country than I did. So, when it's hunting season, we take care of ourselves around here. And we go to the woods, we harvest it, we take it apart, we grind it, we saw it up, cut it up, and we vacuum seal it and put it up. Well, I'm telling you what, those hogs, and people don't understand when they think you're talking about a pig in the woods, they see a big, like, domesticated, like, Poland China or Duroc or something, and I'm talking like wild Russian boar. 400 pounds of IKEA. And we have them here. And they're the straight-nosed razorbacks. They're wild Russian boar. We had some, I know that a lot of them are probably imported for hunting lodges that got loose. because I worked at hunting lodges. My family had a hunting lodge, and you know the restrictions were so tight, but you know that a lot of people didn't follow them. And so we've got a lot of big boar around here, and I'd rather have a little bitty sow to eat than a big boar. Than boars stink. Yeah, wild hogs ruin. They ruin more ground, more acreage than any animal. And the beaver here are moving in from up north. They're moving down here, and so the beaver that should be 40 pounds are now 85 plus, and they're changing our waterways and our water patterns. And then when you trap them to get their numbers back down to where they're not changing, you know, because the water's not getting off the mountain anymore, where it's changing and it's creating a diversion, and people get really mad at you. And you're like, we have to do these things. See, so I'm glad there's a lot of people that understand, you know, we're not heartless people. Like, we live in a different, life is more of a contact sport with us. We're in nature. I was always in the woods when I was young. Up until I was diagnosed and the legs got so bad, I hunted one year and I got to the spot, and getting out, I had problems, and I knew I had to give it up. And so I haven't hunted in a few years unless I like do a little quick squirrel hunt or something. But now that I've got that crossbow, I need me like a little tank so I can like roll out to the woods and I would totally get a little tank. You could see me in one of those. The lines the parents cross to never get the kids back, it's really up to the judge. It's up to the prosecution. It's going to be a whole case layout. For me personally, with what's going on, I think that if they were possibly even open, if a judge was possibly even open to letting them work to get the kids back, there would be so much work to do that I'm not sure the two people that I've seen portrayed by their behavior would have the capacity to do the work to get the kids back. But they might do it. I don't know. But I honestly don't look for that to occur. When they say they're super expensive, and so I would probably never be able to get one. But I mean, if I can get a four-wheeler there, I can't shift one anymore. I have to drive an automatic because I'm a sissy now because my legs don't work. But if I can get a four-wheeler there, you know, I can hunt. But I have to have somebody with me, because if my body starts to crap out like an MS person, somebody has to get my butt home. I live in a dry county, so we don't have any of those. Well, it just passed the last, like a few months ago, but nobody has moved in any stores. So, for conversation's sake, we're still a dry county, but it just passed. So somebody could totally start that now, but nobody has yet. But I look for somebody to come in and do that. So right now, you've got a 45-minute drive to go anywhere to get any kind of liquor. And it's still, like, a lot of our gas stations that do sell beer and stuff, still don't sell on Sunday. So we're still those weird people that do those weird things. So I don't drink. I might have one glass of wine a year. So I don't know. But yeah, that's where I am today. I am up on the plateau, so that's where I am. I'm up on the plateau where nobody ever goes, because there's nothing up here. We're an hour from any interstate, and it's just, the travel's not worth it. It's just not worth it. Not at all. My phone's going to die, so I'm going to have to shut up. I just wanted to get on here and have a chit chat, let you know what I was up to today. Enjoy the crossbow video. I'm an eternal tomboy. I'm just real. I'm just me. If you don't like my life, that's okay. You don't have to agree with everything. You can learn to appreciate small things. I'm okay with that, because I know we're all different. But I like to share my little world, because I know it's strange compared to most. I don't anticipate everyone appreciating it, though, so it's okay. I just want to get on here and say, I'm trying to be the nicest person possible. I mean, I'm just trying to be the nicest person possible, and all I did was read out Tennessee state law. And I really hope that the YouTube creators that I know that are doing these positive things, I hope that momentum carries out over the ones that are doing the negative things. I will bless you too, sweetie. Honey, I'm not special. Ain't nothing special about me. Ain't a thing special about me. But I appreciate y'all. Thank you. Yeah, my health is doing. I've been having some good days, and it excites me. But I don't want to jinx myself. But I've been having some good days, and I love the good days. So I'm praying for more of them. Tennessee's a good place. I don't particularly care for, because Governor Lee is on that Council of Governors for Biden, and that, I don't know how I feel about that. But, we all have different things, but I don't know his motive for that, because he's been all over the radar this year. And I don't ascribe to a political party, and he's literally been all over the radar, but he seems like he's been doing what most of Tennessee, which is a red state, wants him to do, and then boom, he's on the Council of Governors, and I'm like, I don't get it. So it confuses me. Well, y'all encourage me. Y'all encourage me. Y'all give me strength. It gives me. I'm extremely social, and since I've been disabled and stuck at home, it was a shock to the system, because I was used to working 14 plus hours a day. So this is great. I enjoy it. I don't want YouTube to be mad at me, but then again, I'm going to get on here and I'm going to go, why the heck are you mad at me if all I did was read Tennessee state law? Could you be, the emotions you're feeling, could you be projecting them to me when really you're probably mad at yourself because you didn't do enough research to understand it was a no-no? I mean, pay attention. This is one of those conversations that needs to be had, because there's so many positive things, but it needs to be done the right way, legally. And like I said in a video the other day, I should have worded it better, and someone caught me, and I thanked them for catching me and correcting me, because I should have worded it better. And it's not hard. It's just not hard to go, oh shoot, I shouldn't have done that. Let's just delete that one and okay, go on and move on forward. And so I've not drug anybody or said anybody's name or drug a channel, because I predominantly had positive interactions. But oh boy, I get some dudes sent to me. And I read them and I'm like, whoa, she uses the really crappy toilet paper because something has chapped her butt. So it's just I'm not going to take responses from people that are telling me that when I'm following Tennessee state law and protecting children that I'm being a horrible person. It's just okay. Some people you just have to look at and go, okay, and just walk away. Can we make our own fun? Yeah, a backhoe and a pond. My husband's been scouting because he's gonna have to trap a lot of beaver again, because TWRA is on him. They're still really bad. We still need them heavily trapped in this area, specifically start looking. So we're starting to put cameras out and to start paying attention, because come winter we will start trapping again. And he came home one time and he was like, I saw a big one. And I was like, he was excited. My husband does not get excited. If you've seen the videos, he does not get excited. And I said, how big was it? And he said, if it was any bigger, it would have needed a smokestack and have been burning diesel. And I died. I was just on the floor laughing. I was just dying. Yeah, understand the law. If you're going to get into these conversations, understand, and then before you speak about them, look at it from 3 or 4 different perspectives, and make sure you're saying the best things possible. And I will make mistakes from time to time, and y'all will catch them, and I'll go, good catch. I apologize. So, we all got to work together. And when you get information from somebody, if it's good, valid information, just absorb it. Like, I watched a quilting channel the other day, and something that I have done in the most convoluted, horrible way, you know, if anybody has ever put binding on a quilt, you know how irritating it is to fold your binding and sew your binding on and deal with that whole quilt and all that binding, folding, ironing. It's pain in the butt. Now I'm here to tell you, it's a pain in the butt. I watched a woman on YouTube the other day that made something that would have taken me 3 hours. It took her about 10 minutes. And I was like, that's precious information, and I appreciate that information, but I was like, for like 5 minutes, I solidly like hated her because I felt stupid. And I was like, I'm gonna love you tomorrow, but today I'm irritated. I'm gonna be irritated, and then tomorrow I'm gonna love you. But I was like, I'm stupid. Why could I not have thought of that? And yeah, so you know, we all do that sometimes. It happens. It happens. I took a day and I was like, okay, digested it, and then the next day I actually worked on a project and used the tactic, and I was like, so glad I found this woman, even though I was infuriated that I was so stupid that I couldn't have figured that out on my own. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, probably won a few of the awards. It's just how people are. But I just want people to be good to each other. If you're going to have a conversation, try to have a positive one. If you have to say something that is kind of rough, try to put a nice spin on it. You know, I talk about some topics that are really hard to talk about, and I try to do it in a humorous or thoughtful way. And if you have to sit down and have a super serious conversation, then that's when I will put on makeup, sit at the table, have some decorum, and say this is something that needs some reverence. And you'll know when I'm talking about something very important because I will reverence it and show respect to it. I won't be in a ball cap on the back porch. So if I take a topic that I'm really going to educate you about, I'm going to project myself as an educator. So, but yeah, I think that everybody needs to like look up neurological damage from child abuse and just watch some videos. It's astounding. Yeah, I know you peel. I learned that peeling bananas the wrong way, and I bought bananas the other day and peeled every goddamn one of them the wrong way because I can't remember. It's conditioning. The rest of the day, I'm going to make some burgers. I'm going to make some burgers for my husband. I think my son's going to swing by with his wife and say howdy because I've only seen him once in a couple of weeks because he's been so busy. And it's actually warm enough here. I've wondered if I could get in the pool and do my physical therapy and my stretches and exercises because it's really warm here today. It's been really warm for a few days. So I'm like, could I eke out one more exercise dip in the pool before the cold really sets in? So I might get some of my physical therapy done in the pool instead of in the house, which is a great change. I need a hot tub. It's just starting on evening here. Yeah, I talked to a guy, he was actually Freddie Mercury's personal assistant for the last like 11-12 years of his life, Peter Freestone. I love him. We've somehow carved out a little friendship, and he is in Prague. And I talk to him a lot, and it's always 3 a.m. when I talk to him because the time difference. So, I don't sleep well because of my legs and my body. I rotate a lot and have to move a lot at night, so I don't sleep well. I'm up off and on throughout the night. So I chit-chat it if I'm having a rough night. I chit-chat and it helps. Completely a coping mechanism, but it helps. It works, and eventually I nod off and get some rest. So my husband works second shift, so I'm used to being more active later, if that makes sense. So, because we normally don't get to bed till 12 or 1 a.m. anyway due to his schedule. And I have 2 dogs, and we're in a routine. We're creatures of habit. Best way to be. But yeah, it's just a lazy Sunday around here. We were just having some fun with the new crossbow, and my husband's kind of hung around the house and done some work in the first shop and a little bit around the house. You know, I've thought about, they have, I have a little device that uses like a laser wave. And I didn't know if it'd work or not. It was rather expensive, but I saved up and I got it, and it works. And when I did my tattoo work, if I sit, and I'll sit for 6 hours for ink, I'm just sit. I'm not going to make a facial expression. I'm not going to say, I'm just going to sit there. And eventually my tattoo guy will go, I'm stopping, Liz. I'm stopping. But for the next several days, my nerves are so fuzzed, I don't have the pain like I normally do. And we tried to do the implant where the shock, you can have an implant in your back and it will shock. But the trial did not work for me at all. And so I just deal with it. But I have seen some very creative medical products the last year or two. And I've been like, I would so totally try those. So totally. Now I know when we go on vacation, we always try to get a cabin with a hot tub. And I will be in that hot tub every moment I can, because when I'm in that hot tub, I don't hurt. I don't hurt. It's the most relaxing. It's the best place. It's just pure bliss. My body is just like, thank you. And I just sit there and I'm happy. So I really need a hot tub. You can email me. If you need to get in touch with me, you can email me at watersworkload@gmail.com. Oh, I'm wanting me a hot tub. Because we have so many wild animals around here, I've got a screened-in back porch. We're thinking about doing a concrete pad and extending, because we'll have to enclose it, or we'll have a black bear in it. I mean, we just will. They come through here all the time. So we're thinking about pouring a concrete pad and extending it and trying to get one. And my son is such a little, I call him a little redneck savant, because he's just, if you've seen my son's videos, he just kind of does everything his own way, but he's so smart. So I'm thinking that I could get one that may even have like an engine problem that he could repair, and it could, like, be pretty cheap. So yeah, I have a camo pool. I have one of those above ground Intex pools, but I got camouflage because I'm a lumpkin. So yeah, hot tub's next on the list. But I'm hoping my health maintains, because I was able to get out and actually help my mother with my grandmother the other day. And I love feeling useful. And so I want to be able, because I have to go down under the mountain to do that, I want to feel well enough to do that a day or two a week, so that she gets a little bit of a break. Because she is the caretaker and only gets to nurse like 4 hours a day. Foxes and sheep. I used to show sheep. We've got everything here. We've got, our coyotes are as big as flipping wolves. You know, people think of coyotes as little wiry things. They're like big old timber wolves around here. My husband traps those too, because they get after, we have so many, they get after domesticated animals. And I mean, they're huge, ginormous. And people never believe me until they actually see a picture of it, and they're like, holy crap, that coyote's huge. And I'm like, I told you. Didn't lie. But if I was ever in the Tennessee woods, the one thing I would not want to come in contact with is a hog. A hog will kill you before anything else will. And people are like, really? I don't believe that. They are the nastiest creatures that God ever made. They have got the ugliest dispositions, and they're built like little Sherman tanks. And they don't care. They would just want to cut you up, gnaw on you a little while, and roll and go on. They don't care. They're the most hateful things I have ever seen created. I'm just like, when I get to heaven, I'm going to go, Jesus, why did you make those things? Because I have no use for them, unless it's like I get to eat them. Otherwise, I have no use for them. And I have, my whole life, I've hated hogs. So that's the one animal in Tennessee that disturbs me. And that's the one animal, if you're out in the wild, even in Texas, those little javelina hogs, them suckers dangerous too. So if if you're ever out in the country and you see a wild hog, it's not a pig. It's not a pig. It's a hog. Go the other way. They taste good. Yeah, they're yummy. I can't eat store-bought pork anymore. I'm spoilt. I'm rotten. So my dad has a cattle farm down near the mountain, and so we have to trap the hogs, because they'll come in and kill the calves. So we trap the hogs. So that's how we get our bacon. Y'all, I'm country. And I know everybody don't live this way, so if you're offended, I'm sorry. But that's just how I am. It's who I am. And I'm told you I'd always be honest. So that's how I live. That's who I am. But my battery is going to die. I'm going to have to go. But I wanted to check in. I always appreciate talking to you. This has been a great little rest up for me. I'm going to go and make my lumberjack some dinner. And then I'm going to visit with my kiddos for a little bit. And I hope everybody has had a great weekend. It's been a weekend of reflection, I'm sure, for a lot of families. It has for me, too. And I hope everybody has a good week. I hope you're preparing mentally and emotionally for a good week. And I hope y'all are blessed with one. I'm sure you'll see me back. But if you don't, just know I'm resting. I'll be back as soon as I can. I'll talk to you later.